3. It was disappointing for James because he had a brake problem and he couldn't fight properly in his quarter-final. Next to him, a guy who's really going well at the moment, Chris van der Drift.
Yeah, a little bit disappointed because I thought he was going to be a bit faster than that yesterday, but he's going well at the moment and he's going to be strong. All this pack is strong just now.
Second in the points is AC Milan, and he's got a good chance to do something from third on the grid here, alongside Anderlecht, the double race winner so far this year. But as we move forward to the front row of the grid, we've got two new drivers effectively looking for wins in 2010. Robert Doornbos has won in the past, but he's looking for his first 2010 victory. He starts in second place, but alongside him, Julien Jousse, after a brilliant qualifying session. He's had a couple of second places. Now, can he go one step better and take the victory?
Well, it will be deserved because he's finished second in the last race. He's been up there, always competitive, strong, solid, regularly at the front. So we'll see if he can keep it, and it's well deserved if he does.
Very impressive he's been since he joined Superleague towards the end of last year, and he's been a consistent runner in this year's championship. Away we go on the formation lap. Corinthians and AS Roma heading down towards the first turn. Looking from our commentary box window, everybody has cleared the grid. That's good news, so no problems. And remember, right at the back is the championship leader, Tottenham, as they come down. Let's just confirm that grid once again. It's AS Roma and Corinthians on the front row of the grid together. Anderlecht and Milan, two winners already this year on row 2. Olympiacos and Liverpool from row number 3. Then Galatasaray and Flamengo, the cars now through the arena section. PSV Eindhoven and Lyon together on row number 5. Row 6, we've got Sporting Lisbon and FC Basel. Watch for Max Wissel making moves here. John Martin for Beijing, a winner last week, and Alvaro Perret for Porto, disappointed in qualifying. Seville and Bordeaux line up together on row 8. Row 9, we've got Madrid and most notably, of course, Tottenham Hotspur, with Craig Dolby having to do one of his usual tricks of overtaking as many cars as possible. And if you look at that championship situation, a 60-point lead for Tottenham, that could disappear fairly quickly if he has a poor race in this one, and of course the second race of the day. Good chance for AC Milan to move up. Look also for Liverpool to be gaining some points from their starting position. Bordeaux haven't started well, so could drop down the order, and Beijing likewise, but Corinthians is the one that could really climb up the order here. 13th in the points at the moment for Robert Doornbos. I have to say, Bruce, I'm really encouraged to see Robert's performance yesterday, because as we already discussed, you know, we expect him to do well. He's done well in the past, but the early part of this season has been difficult for him.
Yeah, it has been for different diverse reasons. I think they were struggling with the car, trying to find a good balance, but he was up there yesterday, was strong in quali, just a small mistake in the final stage to get to pole position, and Julien Jousse was extremely strong. So no, I'm happy to see him up there. I'm sure he's going to go for the win. He's going to push and give all he has. So is Julien Jousse. This man we're on board with, AC Milan, might take it a little bit more easier, even though I'm not sure, but he has to think that Craig Dolby is right at the back, so it's going to be an interesting race.
Oh, we got problems for John Martin of Beijing. So race 1 winner of Harama just a week ago, from the ecstasy to the agony of motorsport, because he's pulled off on the formation lap.
Yeah, it's over for him. It's over. He won't be able to rejoin. It's too late. Not sure what the problem is. He rolled the car down the hill and parked it on the side.
That is so disappointing for John. He had a little off in qualifying yesterday that prevented him getting through into the quarterfinals on a quick lap. The telemetry, the data they've looked at since then showing he was on a very fast lap. But it's all gone wrong for him, and you feel for the mechanics, because they don't know what the problem is. They've worked hard on that car throughout the evening to make sure everything is reliable and good, but it's a real problem. We gather that there might have been a problem with the right rear wheel, so maybe coming loose, so that's an odd one. Anyway, the leaders are now beginning to get this grid together. The front row cars of Corinthians and the poleman Roma lead the field around the final corner as we prepare for the rolling start in the first race of the weekend in Super League here at the Nurburgring. And as they get underway, it is a good start by AS Roma, but there's a lot of bunching behind as they head down towards that first corner. Poor start by Corinthians, and coming around the outside is Anderlecht. AC Milan have gone up the inside, and so the two second row starters going well. That's Galatasaray running wide, Tristan Gomini. We're on board with Max Wissel, but that was a messy start, Bruce.
It was, because there was such a gap between some cars at the back, and I think about talking about Flamengo and Franck Pereira, who's actually in third and fighting for third, but fourth position. He got fourth position now. He made a mega start, was starting from 8th position. Very good start there, and there's also Olympiacos just there pushing hard on Frank Pereira.
But
What a start from the two of them.
two front row men have gone right down the pack. Corinthians, the black car, the black and white car, he's behind Olympiacos. Look at that. So he's in, what, 6th place? And behind him, I think, where is Julien Jousse? He had a terrible getaway as well.
Yeah, terrible getaway. I think the thing is they were very slow, and the guys at the back had a bit of a gap, and they took the throttle way before the green lights, and everybody's been cheating on that start basically, and everybody went around. It was a massive back going into the first corner, and it's lucky that there was no crash. There were no crash.
Oh, somebody's got off! Somebody's got off! Just misses the tyres. It's Paul Bourdais for Lyon. Sebastien Bourdais, how did he manage to miss those tyres?
Very close indeed, and he's just back in on the track in front of Tristan Gomendi.
My goodness. Well, up front, I said Julien Jousse made a poor start. Actually, he is still sitting in 3rd, so the pole man not completely out of it. Look at Tottenham's Craig Dolby. He's on the bit of a charge. AC Milan leading this race, and already Dolby trying to gain places, but he's not had the mega first lap that we're used to seeing here. He's still struggling to pick off any of them, and that's Bourdais that he's trying to get past now, and he should have him up the inside into the final turn.
Yeah, he's got him. I mean, Bourdais has got dirty tyres, so he got overtook by Gomendi and Craig Dolby at the same time.
So AS Roma in 3rd place, behind AC Milan and Anderlecht. Flamengo in 4th place, as you say. That was a great start from them. Little battle going on there between PSV and Porto. It's side by side. That's the battle for 8th position. And PSV, Narain Cartagena just fending off Alvaro Parent. Meanwhile, Sporting Lisbon making progress in 10th. And Basel also trying to gain ground, although still pretty much where they started from.
Yeah, Borja Garcia with the green car. Sporting Lisbon is very competitive now. They found the problem yesterday on the car, and he's been struggling since the beginning of the year with his car, and now he's getting competitive. We're on board with Max Wissel, and in front of him Borja Garcia, who's pushing hard, trying to get closer to the car in front of him.
And a little bit wide there, just for Garcia in the green car. That might give Max Wissel a little bit of hope, but he's not close enough to challenge as they come down to the bottom hairpin. This slightly banked turn through there and back out over the curb on the exit. That's the standard line. PSV versus Porto, the red and white colours of PSV, the Dutch club, driven by ex-Grand Prix driver Narain Cartagena. Right behind him, GP2 race winner Alvaro Parent, a Super League race winner Alvaro Parent. There he is in the blue car of FC Porto, but he's having a bit of a tough season at the moment. Started well at Silverstone, but it's slipped away from him since then. Made some changes on the car overnight to try and improve things, but he can't find a way past Narain.
No, because Narain has got some pace now. Narain is back on track. They found a good setup, a good balance for his car. They found a little problem with the car as well. And he's there competitive now again. Max Wissel tried to dive on the inside of Borja Garcia, but couldn't make it.
No, we're back with Max Wissel. There was a jink from him, but he didn't make it pay. So he's still following the green car, which is a little wide again through that last corner, suffering from a lack of grip there.
Yeah, understeer from Borja Garcia, and Max Wissel is going to try to have a go on the inside, I'm pretty sure. No, he's too far.
So let's quickly run through the order at the moment. AC Milan leading the race, Anderlecht in 2nd place, AS Roma in 3rd, Flamengo in 4th, Olympiacos 5th, Corinthians in 6th. Take another look at the start here.
Yeah, we're already in the first corner, so it's hard to see who accelerated before. We're back there. Everybody was too early on the throttle. Corinthians had no room, nowhere to go, had cars all around him, even in front of him. Bourdais was right up there as well, as you can see, fighting with Borja Garcia.
Yes, he was going around the outside, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had a good start.
Now, this is what we saw of Bourdais going off. My goodness, that is a fast section. It's just coming through the Schumacher S, the exit of it, and they are really travelling there.
It was a really good catch because they're travelling at about 230 k's per hour when they exit that corner.
So, a pretty good piece of reacting from Sebastien Bourdais. There is your race leader. It's Jelmer Berman for AC Milan. He's already won races this year. He sits 2nd in the points, remember. This is a huge opportunity to close the gap to Tottenham. And where is Tottenham right now? Well, last time he came past us, down in 15th place. So Craig Dolby has not managed to make much progress. Corinthians in 6th, Liverpool in 7th, PSV there in 8th place, Porto in 9th place, Seville currently in 10th position, 11th for Sporting Lisbon, 12th for Basel. Then it's Bordeaux in 13th. A bit of an attack again from Alvaro Parent. Narain Cartagena clams over the curb. Still he can't find a way through.
No, he was, Alvaro Parent was trying to overtake on the outside, which is not the right line, and it's hard to overtake Narain. Narain has great car control, slides the car back on the throttle easy. And still they're battling. Narain using the push to pass just now, I think, to try to get a bit of air.
And behind also Bordeaux trying to make a bit of a move as they all head down into this tight arena section as Porto, and then you can see they're just behind them as well. It's all looking pretty tight. PSV's Nurburgring Cartagena for the moment though, fending off Alvaro Parent. Seville tucked in behind, and then Sporting Lisbon not far in arrears in 11th place at the moment. But up front, let me tell you that AC Milan, the race leader, has set the fastest lap in this race as well. 1:46.4. His lead has opened up to 1.7 seconds over Anderlecht. Remember, pit stops play an important part of Super League racing. We've got 5 minutes to go before we're going to see any pit stops taking place. Corinthians come through the picture. There's James Walker for Liverpool as he comes through. Now, Porto, I think, have been on the attack once again. Did it work this time? This was on board with Alvaro Parent. They've got side by side, but yeah, that was into the chicane. He couldn't pull it off.
No, he couldn't. Nurburgring braked exactly at the same place. They were side by side, and it's the inside car who's going to have the advantage.
It's a good battle, this one, between Nurburgring Cartagena and Alvaro Parent, but no change in that battle so far. PSV running in 8th position, and that could be their best result of the season. 9th place is Nurburgring's best finish, so that's why part of the reason he's fighting so hard. He wants to get his best result of the year so far, and again, Parent not quite close enough to challenge on this occasion. So as they come up towards that final turn, AC Milan has already crossed the line. Now the gap up to 2.1 seconds between AC Milan and Anderlecht in 2nd place. AS Roma still hanging on in 3rd as we ride with Alvaro Parent. Here we are, challenging once again. Can he use the power boost? That's what he's going to try and do, perhaps, to head down into turn 1. He's got the inside line, but as he overshot the corner, Nurburgring's going to try and cut him off, and he gets the place back.
Hey, what a great fight between the two of them. It would be interesting to whether have Nurburgring have a bit of air to try to carry on and push and try to catch up with the cars in front of him, or to see Alvaro Parente in the Porto car managing to overtake and try to push and bring Nurburgring with him back up at the front, because I think the two of them are losing a lot of time fighting with each other. But what a great fight. Yeah,
it's fun to watch. And in the background, Max Wissel again shadowing around the rear of the Sporting Lisbon car, the green car driven by Borja Garcia. And once again, Wissel looking for a tighter exit, looking for a good exit out of that right-hander down the hill, but he's not close enough to challenge as they come down to the bottom hairpin, the Dunlop hairpin. Back up the hill they go once again, up through the Schumacher S, just about flat out through this section. And these V12 4.2 litre 750 horsepower engines powering these big heavy cars at speeds up to about 280 kilometers per hour on the back stretch. These are big cars, they do take some handling, and Max Wissel, you can see, just fighting a little bit as he still tucks in behind that Sporting Lisbon car.
Yeah, and the temperature is raising as well. It's getting hot, and the tires are going to suffer with all that fuel in the car. When they start the race, it's hard for them to drive. You have to control the car a lot, and you can see how tight it is. I mean, all the cars are following themselves. Borja Garcia, then Max Wissel, then Girondin Bordeaux with Franck Montagny, who cannot overtake, and Tristan Gamondi is back there into the fight as well. Everybody's following everybody, and they're all on the limit.
And even, as you say, Tottenham can't find a way through on this occasion. Craig Dolby, the king of the overtaking manoeuvres, is still down in 15th place. So a big loss of points possible here, with his big rival AC Milan leading the race and stretching out that advantage bit by bit over Anderlecht in 2nd. But remember, still the pit stops to deal with. Still that issue of tyre wear, looking after the tyres a little bit. And again, you can tell here that Max Wissel potentially could be a lot faster, but he's got to find a way past this green machine ahead of him.
Yeah, and it's not easy, and I'm sure Borja Garcia is well aware that Max Wissel is right behind him, having an eye in the mirror, ready to use a push-to-pass to defend if he has to. And yeah, it's who is going to pit first as well. It's going to play a big role in the positions in the race as well.
35 minutes to go in the race, so still a little bit before the pit lane opens. Here is our leader with a bit of slow motion action, Jelmer Berman. He is driving superbly at the moment, very smooth, very composed. That's exactly what he needs here, and he's got the edge. A little bit of a wiggle there as he just comes back out onto the back stretch. And the time's now still looking good from him. Despite the best of the tyre grip going away, he's still lapping in the 1:46s.
Yeah, very good performance from him, but also just behind him, Anderlecht, as you can see, he's following him and he's lapping exactly the same lap times now every lap. 200 difference into the last lap, so they're very close to each other. And Anderlecht and David Erigon is going to push throughout the entire race to try to get that win, and he's never going to give up and put the pressure on Nurburgring.
Both these drivers have had 2 wins apiece so far this year. Which of them will become the first one to score 3 wins? AS Roma in 3rd, then Flamengo under pressure there from Olympiacos as they went across the line. That was a tight battle. Corinthians, and then look at this, Parents trying again to get past Narain Kartikeyan. Oh, can't do that. He's trying to intimidate him, and Narain won't live with that.
No, yeah, intimidation maneuver, but you know what he has to do? I think he was at the right position, braking on the outside, and tried to cross to the inside, try to push Narain to make a mistake and brake later, outbrake himself and try to cross to the inside. That would be a good technique, because otherwise it's going to be super hard to overtake Narain.
Looking on the graphic on the top left of your screen, looking at the changes from where they started. AC Milan leading this race up 3 places on their grid position. Anderlecht up 1, AS Roma down 2, and Corinthians, the big loser, down 4 places on that front row start for Robert Doornbos. Another look at this, Bruce.
Yep. He's gonna steer into him a little bit. Up, come on, give me some room. He's not very happy, but that's racing like we like to see it. Look, the steering wheel goes to the right suddenly, up a bit before the corner. Yep.
He knew it was never really on, and Narain Kartikeyan's too wise to fall for that one, and Jim Cross, he just holds his ground. So, but it's proving to be an entertaining scrap between these guys. And if you look at the graphic once again, the lower part of the grid, some of those gaining and some losing. You see Bordeaux gained 3, but look at Galatasaray, lost 7 places. That was because he got a wheel on the grass going down into the first turn, and he had to really back out of it. Went very wide and lost a lot of places.
Yeah, indeed, and as well a disappointing start for Robert Doornbos and the Corinthians car, which was starting 2nd, is now running in 6th position. That's a bit of a bad start. Shame. We're still following Narain Kartikeyan, holding on to his position in front of Alvaro Parente, who's pushing him hard. No one using pushers to pass now, a bit early in the race. Yeah. And side by side is Borja Garcia defending from Max Wissel, who's going to try to dive on the inside.
Oh, he's got the space, he's done it, but can he hold it now? He's got to be clever here. Oh, he's judged that beautifully. Well done, Max Wissel. Using a bit of circuit knowledge, that was a clever pass.
Yeah, exactly, because the first corner, the track opens up, gets wider suddenly, and even though Borja Garcia was defending on the inside, he wasn't closing the door completely. There was just a little door inside, and that's where Max Wissel dived in and managed a nice maneuver.
So that means Basel up to 11th place. Still got to go a bit further if they're going to score well in this one. And Max Wissel, I think, potentially got a quick car. We'll watch his lap times over the next couple of laps, because there's a little bit of a gap between himself and the car of Seville, which is his next target. Meanwhile, behind Sporting Lisbon now, you've got the Galatasaray car, the distinctive red and yellow colours, the car driven by Tristan Gomedy. No change for Tottenham. Craig Dolby still in 15th place. Lyon, Sebastien Bourdais in 16th place. So we've got some real front runners, race winners down the back here. Take another look at this.
Yeah, just a very, very small window inside, and he took it, stopped the car very well to make sure Borja was not going to be able to cross again, and made it.
The clever thing here was he's actually on the dirty part of the track here, and yet he still gets the car stopped.
Yeah, no, it's true. Very good job. You can see the inside wheel locking up because the track disappears under the wheel. Good move. Yeah,
great move by youngster Max Wissel. Comes from Alzenau, which is about 200 kilometres from this Nurburgring circuit, so it's not right on the doorstep, but he does consider it pretty much his home track, and so he's enjoying himself, and that showed there with some really good circuit knowledge of just where to position the car. So up front, with the pit lane due to open in just about 15 seconds time, it is still AC Milan that leads the race. You're on board with Galatasaray in 13th place, also now with the same target of trying to get past that green machine. And meanwhile, there is no change in the scrap between Narain Kartikeyan for we're looking at Liverpool. Yeah, actually there has been a change there, because Corinthians has moved up 1. Still in 6th, but yeah, right under the rear wing of the Liverpool car. So Corinthians in 6th place. Yeah,
what happened, I think we didn't see, but Liverpool FC overtook Corinthians, and that's why we haven't got it on the screen yet, because they haven't completed the lap. Liverpool FC used a little bit of his push to pass to try to overtake Robert, and he managed.
Yeah, thanks for the clear up there, Liverpool. James Walker. My apologies, James, you've done a good move, but we just didn't quite catch it, and you've moved up one for Liverpool into 6th place, and that's a good scalp to claim, because Corinthians have been fast all this weekend. So Liverpool's car obviously good. He didn't have the chance to show what it was capable of in qualifying because of the brake problem he had, and ended up losing his quarter-final to Anderlecht. Meanwhile, as you saw, the pit lane is being readied. The pit lane is now open, and we're expecting most of the front runners to come in as early as possible. So I would expect to see a lot of action coming up in the pits any moment. And look how much Basel has closed up here on the back of the Seville car, and we could see some big changes in position coming up.
Oh, look at that. He's even what happened, I think that the car in front of him had a problem.
That's interesting.
Marcos Martinez was super slow exiting the chicane, and he's all over him now, trying to overtake. He's probably going to try to make a move on the inside again.
Yeah, he's got to do this really, because a lot of the others are coming into the pit, and he cannot afford to spend a lap sitting behind Marcos Martinez. Well, he's done it. He's got down the inside. He should be able to hold it. Marcos Martinez is going to hope to cut back, but he can't. And Max Vissel's got that line sorted out. Porto into the pits then, but also in the pits we've got Anderlecht, I think, in. Oh, problem there, is there for Porto? Or
stole the engine, I
think. Dear oh dear. And he's been involved in that tremendous tussle with PSV, but unfortunately it looks as though that might have ended for him. And is he going to even get going at all? They're trying to push start him now.
Yeah, he stole the engine, or the engine stopped basically, and they get to push him. They have to push him to restart the engine if they manage, but he must have lost so much time there. Sebastian Bourdais back on track.
Now, interestingly, of the leaders, Anderlecht have come in and gone back out again, but AC Milan have stayed out. So a good lap last time around from AC Milan, but you would expect the newer tyres perhaps to have an advantage. It does depend whether they have a new set of tyres available to them for the second half of the race, or perhaps they're saving their new tyres up for the second race of the day. Teams do change their strategies according to how things are going in a particular race. Now, is he staying out there? No, he does come in this time. Race leader, AC Milan, heading in towards the pits then. Flamengo are currently sitting in 2nd place. They haven't stopped yet either. And we're also seeing Basel stayed out there, as we saw last time around. And now we're going to see whether AC Milan comes out ahead of Anderlecht, who stopped last lap around.
Yeah, it was a clever call from the team, because they wanted a clear pit lane with no traffic. No drama can happen in that case, and new tyres on the car.
Brand new set of tyres. There is a car just coming down pit lane, but that's okay. It's no problem for Jelmer Berman. Now we just need to keep an eye out for where Anderlecht are as they come around. Into the pits comes Corinthians, so Robert Dornbos now in as well. Basel are in on this lap as well. And Liverpool getting going there. Now, as the former race... Oh, Corinthians only just missing that other car that was coming in. Rejoining AC Milan ahead of Anderlecht. So there's been no change between the top two runners from before the pit stops. AC Milan's tactics seem to have worked well.
Yeah, it seemed to have worked. Oh, two cars coming side by side. Craig Dolby
and Marcos Martinez. Now then, what happens here?
Well, Craig Dolby is just slightly in front. They don't have the right to be side by side. One has to give up. Marcos Martinez should have been behind him. They cannot be side by side in the pit lane. That's a rule.
And they should have been in that outer lane, that fast lane. So yes, he should have backed off and followed Dolby. On board here with PSV's Narain Carter-Cayen, who had a good stop, unlike his opponent from the first part of that race, Alvaro Parente, who had a miserable stop. Now, I think Max Vissel's had a pretty good stop for Basel, and he's now on a charge. He's got some clear air ahead of him, and once we see everybody else back around, we'll get an idea of what difference these pit stops have made. Interestingly, Bordeaux has not come in yet. Frank Montagny has decided to stay out just a little bit longer, so I wonder whether the Frenchman thinks that can go to his advantage. Of course, he was a long way down the field, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he was stuck behind three cars, Galatasaray, Borja Garcia, and if he's lapping a bit quicker.
Interesting, the race lead, AC Milan coming up to lap. So the Atletico Madrid car of Maria de Vallota, she slots in behind, and Anderlecht still in touch with the race leader. So the top two here, not much distance between them.
No. Good job that Maria came into the pit stops not to trouble Davide Rigon. She moved out of the way as well for AC Milan and Jelmer Berman, just to
So, second and third for Milan and Anderlecht. Let's get some news from the pit lane. Abby's with Beijing driver John Martin.
Okay, John, without swearing, what happened?
Yeah, I don't really know. It's just had a bit of a problem on the outlap. Something happened with yeah, one of the rear wheels, so it's a bit unfortunate. Anyway, we'll yeah, look forward to race 2.
So disappointing there for John Martin. Manages to put a brave face on it. But see what he can do. He'll obviously be starting up front, presumably, although he didn't even make the start of this race. So that'll be an interesting one, whether he does get pole position, because you're meant to take the start of the race on the reverse grid. Now, we've got a new fastest lap from the man who's in second. Well, he's actually in third, because Bordeaux has not yet come into the pits. But the real battle for the lead is between Milan and Anderlecht. And Anderlecht's just put in a fastest lap. So this race is definitely not over yet. Up front, Frank Montagny's decided to go deep into the race before he makes his pit stop. And meanwhile, you're watching Corinthians and Liverpool. We saw them battling in the first part of the race. Now they've got a different set of tyres on, and the battle is rejoined.
We will see if it pays off for Girondin Bordeaux to have been waiting, as I was saying just previously before the interview. Basically, he had clean air in front of him, and he could push without traffic, and hoping that it was going to be a help. And he carries on just now, as we see, still not stopping, because he has no one in front of him, so he can lap fast and try to overtake people virtually and rejoin in front of them after he does his pit stop.
Hasn't got much longer. The pit lane closes in 3 minutes, as you can see from the clock in the top left-hand corner of the screen. I would imagine he'll probably come in next time around. There are the two who are effectively battling for the lead, AC Milan and Anderlecht. Olympiacos are right up there again. Another great stop from the crew. Flamengo then next up, ahead of AS Roma and Liverpool.
Yeah, basically what happened, there was a swap in places. Olympiacos was running 6th, went up to 3rd. AS Roma was running 3rd, down to 6th, and Flamengo was 5th, stayed in the middle of the two cars. So a bad stop for AS Roma, a very good stop for Olympiacos, a normal stop for Flamengo.
Impressive, yeah, impressive stuff for Olympiacos. They do seem to be very quick on the pit stops, and that's been a feature of their season so far. And Chris van der Drift doing the job in the cockpit as well. Still waiting for Bordeaux to come in, for Frank Montagny to head into the pits, and looks like he will be doing so this next time around. Don't think he's got a new set of tyres to use there, but he's not looking to win this race. He's just looking to move up past a few of the guys he was dicing with in the early stages. They have to come in this lap, otherwise the pit lane window will have closed. Just noticing Porto coming in there, and he looks like he's retiring. He's already going into the pit lane. It's clear he's being pushed back into the garage, and it's continuing a rather miserable weekend for Alvaro Parent. And that pit stop, it all seemed to go wrong from the pit stop. So hopefully he'll have better luck in the second race. He'll be depending on that reverse grid, which will put him up near the front, no doubt about that. So he'll have a real chance to do something from the front. Here comes our race leader then to make his pit stop. The last, effectively, to make a pit stop. And it hands the lead back to AC Milan, still under pressure from Anderlecht. The gap between them as they come around this time actually might have just opened up a fraction. We'll take a look at that as they come across the line. AC Milan across the line and Anderlecht, and the gap some 2 seconds. And which of them had the quicker lap? Milan had the quicker lap on that last one, as Bordeaux comes in, gets a set of tyres put on, but a set of tyres that has already done some running. Now, where is this going to bring Frank Montagny back out? Oh, engine stalled.
Yeah. All the work from Frank, trying to push,
and again,
not working, and maybe he has a clutch problem, because it seems that as soon as they plug in the starter at the back, the car's moving.
Yeah, it does look that way, doesn't it? It does look like he has got a clutch problem. Tottenham has just got past PSV. Tottenham has gained through the pit stops, let me tell you. Craig Dolby is up to 11th position now. So, despite having a difficult first section of the race, he's now in 11th. He's got to chase after Galatasaray. He's got a 6-second gap to Galatasaray as Bordeaux eventually gets underway. And as you say, I think all that hard work by Montagny in clear air has not benefited them at all.
No. All crashed from a terrible pit stop with an engine stalled. Yeah, it's a shame. And Max Wissel now. Fastest lap. Yep. Pushing hard. As you were saying, he was actually looking fast behind those cars, and now with new tires, 44.89, 1/10 faster than the leader AC Milan, and at the moment he's running in 9th position.
but he's 6 seconds off the guy in 8th, which is Robert Dornbos for Corinthians. So he's got a lot of work to do here, but they were just looking at some of the slow motion action from Max Wissel, who is driving a really good race at the moment. We've seen a couple of superb overtaking manoeuvres from the young German, and you have to say that he could well catch this guy, Corinthians. Now, look at the pit lane times, who was in their pits for longest and who was shortest. Look at that stop for Olympiacos, 32.7 seconds. That's where they claimed that third position they're currently enjoying.
Yeah, Flamengo 36, nearly 37 seconds. That's 3 seconds slower than even Flamengo, who had an average stop. If you look at the average, Corinthians very fast, 33.1. Basel, good pit stop as well. Galatasaray, not so bad. Terrible pit stop for Sevilla again this weekend. And Porto,
well, Porto's out anyway.
Was out, yes.
Yeah.
So just not such a good start for AS Roma, who was starting on pole position and who's now running in 5th position. Sorry.
Now, Nurburgring Kartikeyan in the PSV car there, the more strongly red and white car, he was battling with Alvaro Parente in the first part of the race. Now he's got someone else to play with. This is the Seville car right behind him, driven by Marcos Martinez, and they're still fighting. Well, they're fighting now for what is 11th. So PSV have lost out as a result of the pit stops. They've dropped down the order. They were looking at perhaps scoring their best result of the season so far, but the pit stops didn't really work out to their benefit. And now Nurburgring Kartikeyan coming under some severe pressure here from Marcos Martinez, who really needs a decent result. He's had a tough season so far, and he'll be looking for a way past. And look at his lap comparisons. He really is going much quicker than Kartikeyan.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last laps from Nurburgring, 48.3, average of high 47 is very bad. I'm wondering what's happening, because he looked quite quick at the beginning of the race, and now at the lap time is terrible.
Yeah, that's not good. Maybe a poor set of tyres, second set of tyres that have maybe done a lot of running already.
Yeah, clearly not a good set, otherwise he would be quicker than that. But even then, yeah, 3 seconds, yeah, it's probably an old set of tyres.
Looking back from the PSV car to the Seville machine of Marcos Martinez as they come up towards that last little chicane. Up front, just to remind you, it's still AC Milan leading the race by 1.8 seconds over Anderlecht in second, Olympiacos in third, Flamengo in fourth, AS Roma, the pole sitter, Julien Jus is fifth, Liverpool's James Walker in sixth, Corinthians and Robert Dornbos in seventh, FC Basel with Max Wissel on a really quick succession of laps at the moment. He is sitting in 8th place, and we're on board with Seville's Marcos Martinez as he tries to put some pressure on Kartikeyan just ahead.
Yeah, Kartikeyan pushing hard, and we're back with AS Roma back at the front. 5th position for AS Roma, who's defending on Liverpool FC, and Corinthians is there as well in the battle.
Yeah, this is a good one, isn't it? Because you've got 3 pretty rapid cars all close together. You've got the 2 front row men sandwiching the Liverpool car that had a problem in qualifying and wasn't able to show its true colours. So Julien Jus there, the pole sitter, still looking for AS Roma's first Super League win. Well, it's not going to come in this race because they are now in 5th and trying to protect that position from James Walker, who's had some good results here at the Nurburgring in the past in various different categories, Formula 3 included. But right behind him is the black and white car of Corinthians, of Robert Dornbos, who did start on the front row, but like Julien Jus, really got out-fumbled by some fast-starting cars behind. And there we are, on board with Dornbos, as he watches the battle between Liverpool and Roma. And Liverpool had a little look there down the inside.
Yeah, he just used the push-to-pass, but it didn't quite work. He couldn't make it. Julien Jus is defending, and those cars are so wide as well, so it's super hard to overtake. Robert Dornbos is right in the gearbox of the Liverpool car now, and lost a little bit of momentum on the exit, so he's not super close, but he might still try to dive on the inside. No, Liverpool is now defending. It's his turn to defend.
Looks as though Dornbos might have had a push to pass to use there, but it wasn't quite enough. In the background, by the way, the other car closing up on them, just bit by bit, is Max Wissel in the Basel car. He's got the gap down to 4 seconds. It was 6.5 seconds a little while ago. Take another look at this. It was all getting tight at that final corner.
Yeah, Robert Dornbos had to lift off at the beginning of the straight, which is not ideal, obviously, if you want to carry some momentum in the straight. That's why he was a bit far to overtake and missed out on that opportunity.
So still this is a race for 5th place. AS Roma versus Liverpool and Corinthians. Julien Jus in the lead of the group from James Walker, and off has gone Maria Maria in the gravel trap in the Atletico de Madrid car. She was running in 16th place, but she obviously out of the race now, just replacing the steering wheel. She'll get out to a place of safety, and she joins what is a fairly short list of retirements. We lost Beijing on the formation lap. Porto retired a few laps ago, and now Atletico de Madrid. That means she's going to have a front starting position as well for the second race of the day.
Yeah, and at least she will have a good set of tyres.
Yep, a good set of tyres for the second race of the day. These guys still fighting hard. 14.5 minutes remain in this first of two 45-minute races, and then the super final to come later on today, of course. Let's take a look at what happened, if we can, to Maria. She's we can't see exactly what happened, but that sequence, a fast section of the circuit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fast section, but it's entering the corner, so I don't really understand how you can get out here. It's a bit strange to me, but she managed, so...
Well, we'll see what happens later. So still this race for 5th place. AS Roma with Juice. There's James Walker, looking the most threatening perhaps here at the moment of another place gain. And they're a little slide. Now there's a little indication of the rear tyres perhaps just beginning to go away on the AS Roma machine.
Yes, the traction we're having a bit of a frozen moment inside of Liverpool, but if you look clearly in front of you, the car in front, you see that the rubber is going down on the track and having a bit of oversteer as they take the throttle. That's the tires going away, and they're struggling to put the throttle down. Basically, that's what happens when the tires are getting old, and it makes it trickier to overtake as well.
And interestingly, riding with James here, he doesn't seem to be having to correct any of that kind of oversteer himself. So it looks as though perhaps his rear tyres are, maybe he's looked after them more. But look, puts the power down, he's got no correction there.
No, and in front AS Roma and Julien Jousse is struggling with traction, clearly. None of them are full up the hill. That's quite interesting to see. That shows that the level of grip is not so high. Not super late on the brakes, and yeah, you can see that the tires are going away because they all lack a bit of speed through there now. But Julien Jousse still managing to keep his advantage early on the throttle, sliding the car a bit on the throttle.
One push to pass available for James Walker. You can see that on the graphic in the bottom right-hand corner of the graphic there. So one ability to use 50 brake horsepower more in this race to see whether it'll help him get past. And still closing up on this group is Basil. Basil now got the gap down to 3 seconds, but look, you can see now you've got the 1, 2, 3, well there, 5, 6, 7 in fact, and 8th place Basil, bit closer, then Galatasaray in 9th, and 10th place still Tottenham. Craig Dolby is going to get some points from this race, but his big points advantage that he was enjoying for Tottenham over AC Milan is definitely going to be diminished. On board now with the 3rd car in this chain. This is with Corinthians once again, sitting in 7th. Remember that Basil in 8th, definitely getting a little closer. He got the gap down to 2.0 seconds last time around. And Max Wissel was a second faster than this car on that last lap, so he is still flying.
Yeah, Max Wissel still pushing, still on a good pace. When you have a good space to start with, you can keep up with it, and you have nobody in front of you that slows you down, and he's going to catch up on them, but is he going to be able to overtake them? Not the same task, not as easy.
No, but if anyone's done some overtaking, it's been Max today, hasn't it? So he's shown us that it can be done. There is the race leader then, AC Milan's Jelmer Berman. Now, remember, after the pit stops, Anderlecht kept the pressure on for a little while, but in response, Jelmer Berman now has strung a few laps together, and he's got the gap up to nearly 3 seconds, and you've got to say that's a reasonably comfortable margin, Bruce.
Yeah, it is a comfortable margin now, and he has to check in his mirrors because the last lap, basically they did exactly the same lap time, just again 100 difference, which means that Anderlecht is still pushing. But yeah, 3 seconds is a good gap.
Yeah, no, he'll be happy with that. And in fact, it's just gone up a bit more as they cross the line. He's actually gone up to 3.3. So Davide Rigon there in Anderlecht's colours. I think that the Italian perhaps is now deciding he's got to settle for what is actually still an excellent result. He had a bit of a tough time at Jarama last week, but Anderlecht are a major player in this championship, and they'll still be looking for more. Now here comes James Walker, looking to get past Julien Jousse of AS Roma. This is the battle for 5th. He's going down the outside. There's no room there, surely, but he's trying it. No, Julien Jousse cuts him off. Good attempt, but there was no way that Jousse was going to let him get away with that.
No, Jousse was very clever because he braked quite early on the inside just to be sure he wasn't going to overshoot himself. overshoot the corner, sorry. And Liverpool had no way to go but around the outside, and he didn't make it.
And still inexorably behind them, Max Wissel has closed that gap a little bit more, down to 1.2 seconds between himself and the black car of Corinthians, and it is about to become a four-way tussle for fifth position. Great stuff between some of the top Super League drivers of the year. Meanwhile, PSV's Narain Kartikeyan, oh, there's contact with Borja Garcia, round goes Kartikeyan. Garcia continues, and that one ending in tears. That's the battle for 11th.
Yeah, well, Narain was way too deep into the corner. He just couldn't stop the car, and you can see that he was struggling with the level of grip, so Borja went for the inside. Narain stopped the car back into the basically the apex, trying to make the apex of the corner, and they touched.
Well, Dave Stubbs on the radio there to Narain. He'll be disappointed to see that, but let's take another look at this again. Kartikeyan definitely struggling for grip here, wasn't he?
Yeah, he went way too deep, trying to make the apex again on the inside, but there was Borja there, so Bourdais avoiding.
Well, this will be an interesting view.
Yeah, he goes sideways. Contact, and Borja was lucky that he could make it and not be stuck behind the rain, actually. Bit of a friendly moment there.
Yeah, could easily have ended with both cars stuck on the corner, but they thankfully got away with it. Now then, AS Roma is still under pressure from Liverpool. Look at Basel, has definitely caught the group now. So you've got sort of maybe two separate battles hosting up here, because with Max Wissel closing up to the back of Robert Doornbos, the Dutchman in the black car is going to be watching his mirrors for this multicoloured FC Basel car, as meanwhile Liverpool still goes on the attack of AS Roma, but they're all beginning to run out of time. There are 8 minutes remaining in this first race of the day. It's looking good for AC Milan, for the Italian club, to close the points gap to Tottenham, as Tottenham Hotspur sit in 10th place and really not in any prospect of gaining on the 9th place car Galatasaray. They're a full 10 seconds back on 9th position is Craig Dolby, so he's just got to pick up the points where possible and hope that he can have a strong second race as well. Looking at Julien Jousse for AS Roma, doing a mighty job here of defending from this car, and interestingly James has now used all of his push to pass opportunities. Now Julien may have saved some of his, and that's just going to further help him in defending his position.
Yeah, Julien has still one push to pass to go, so he's going to be able to defend whenever James is going to get closer. Basel as well, just behind him, has one. Corinthians has none. So there is an opportunity for Max Wissel to overtake Robert Doornbos.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we'll keep an eye on that as they come through the chicane, bouncing across the curbs. Galatasaray have also sort of followed Basel in closing up to this group. So that's a good effort from Tristan Gomedy as well. But it's AS Roma up front in fifth place in this fantastic tussle that's going on with Liverpool and Corinthians and now FC Basel. And everybody just sort of biding their time, perhaps, looking for any opportunity in the remainder of this race to find a way through. We saw a problem down here a lap or so ago for Narain Kartikeyan, and this tight section is where, when the tyres lose their grip, the drivers have to be ever more patient with both steering and throttle.
Yeah, Robert Doornbos was saying you have to drive like a grandpa to have a good exit, and it's really the case. The deeper you go into the race, the more the tires are used, and the easier you have to be with the tires to try to have a good exit and not to slide the car too much. And I can tell you that Max Wissel was actually very fast catching them up, and now he struggles with his tires as well.
That's right, yeah. So down into the hairpin at the bottom end of the circuit. Nice job this from Julien Jousse. He's been into the pits Lyon. So Sébastien Bourdais for an extra stop. He's been struggling anyway, down in 13th position. So I don't know whether he's making a change to the car and maybe trying to improve it for the second race.
Yeah, probably. I think you're right. Maybe a small wing change or something just to give it a try before the second race to see if it's better, and use this race more as a test session, basically.
He's going to be a potential race winner of the second race of the day with the reverse grid. He's not going to be right up front, but he's going to be close to it. So a good opportunity for Sébastien Bourdais to fine-tune the car and get in better position for race 2. Still, fifth place held by AS Roma, Liverpool, Corinthians and Basel all close behind, and Galatasaray not far off either as they continue around. But the clock continues to tick away as well, and we've got 5 minutes to go. And if Liverpool's going to get past AS Roma, well, James Walker's going to have to come up with something a bit special here. Of the front runners, interestingly, it's the third place. Oh, he's having a little look, no, not close enough to attack there. And he's trying to push AS Roma into a mistake. So far, he hasn't managed it, but you can just tell that Jus is really, really having to work hard here.
Yeah, ooh, James trying to dive on the inside, but it's clearly not wide enough. We just saw that a few laps ago between Borja Garcia and Narain Kartikeyan. But the thing is, Julien Jus knows that James hasn't got a push to pass anymore to use, so he just has to defend the line. And as we were talking with the drivers earlier on, you really have to V the corners with this car, which means straight into the corner, stop the car, turn around, good exit. If he basically breaks late, and Max Wissel using the last push to pass to go oopala, side by side. You know, Corinthians keeps the advantage, and Galatasaray is into the battle now as well.
Great stuff. This is what we want to see in the closing stages of the race. A tussle developing as Max Wissel tries to get alongside the Corinthians car, but just running out of opportunity to do any more with it. He's having another little look there, and look out for Tristan Comedy right behind. He will snatch any advantage that he can from this fight that's going on ahead of him. Robert Dornbos in the black Corinthians car for the moment, fending them off. And as you say, Basel used their last push to pass opportunity.
And now Tristan Comedy is all in trying to make a move. Sorry, I've lost my words. He's around the outside. No, it's not the right place.
No, that's easy to defend, isn't it? And Max Wissel just held a tighter line up the hill towards the chicane, and there was no way for Tristan to go through. But what it's done, of course, is it's dropped Wissel off the back of the Corinthians car.
Yeah, it has, because when you defend, you lose a little bit of time, because you change your line, you lose a bit of time. That's normal. And Tristan is still gonna push hard, and you can see he's late on the brakes, gets very close to the car in front, struggles on the power again with a bit of oversteer, like all the cars now, because the tires are gone. And we might see something happening towards the end, and we can see that Galatasaray was 8/10 quicker on the last lap, but that's because Max Wissel was pushing, trying to make a move on the Corinthians car. James Walker still on the move on AS Roma, who's defending, as I was saying, doing V's, so fast into the corner, stops in the middle. He can't be overtaken there. And fast out of the corner, so he has a lot of speed into the straight, and he's out of danger.
Yep, no problem at all, and Jus is controlling this very, very effectively. And James Walker, no doubt a little frustrated, but it's part of the game. James would be doing the same if the positions were reversed. And AS Roma holding on to 5th place now, the clock ticking away. Up front, the leader has pulled out a gap now of 6 seconds, interestingly, over Anderlecht. So AC Milan are very, very comfortably out in front and lapping about a second faster. And I'm sure Jelmer Bourbon is not pushing the car at this stage because he knows he's got the win under his belt, and yet he's just got a very quick car and he's able to lap that fast. So very comfortable up front for AC Milan. Still watching at another Italian club here, AS Roma, in this busy defensive work that's going on versus Liverpool, followed by Corinthians, Basel and Galatasaray. I wonder if we're going to see a change. We could see a big change, of course. If somebody makes a mistake at the front of this queue, we might see a very big change. But right now, it doesn't look as though anybody's quite close enough to mount a challenge.
No, none of them is close enough to try to make a move. It's tiring on the tires and on the drivers as well, because it takes a lot to set up the car and set up your position to try to make a move on the car in front.
Now here is the race leader, AC Milan, and look at the gap that he's opened up over 2nd place car of Anderlecht. That isn't it. That is Lyon, which came into the pits. So Sebastian Bourdais out of position, a lap down on the race leader, but getting a bit more feel for the car for the second race. So it's a 6-second gap to Anderlecht, the 2nd place car. Olympiakos in a very solid 3rd place. Yet another podium heading the way of the Greek club and of the driver Chris van der Drift, who had that super final victory last time out. So that really is impressive stuff. We're now into the final, virtually into the final 30 seconds of this race. It's going to be quite marginal, actually. Will he get one more lap? He may well just go on to another lap here. We'll see as he comes through the chicane for the final time. Up towards the last corner, it's going to be quite a close run thing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another lap, because there's 15 seconds to go. He's probably crossed the line now. Yeah, another lap to go for the leader. A bit more pressure.
Yeah, one more lap, but he's got so much of a lead here He's looking very comfortable. There's the Lyon car, which is actually down 14th place. Behind are the purple and white colours of Anderlecht, which is your second place car. The gap nearly 7 seconds between first and second. And Davide Rigon decided a little while ago, I think, to just settle for that second place, look after the car for the second race of the day, and potentially, of course, the third race, the super final, where 100,000 euros is the big prize, and you've always got to have your eyes ahead in motorsport, and you've got to have your thoughts on the big prize, so don't wear the car out too much in the early stages. AS Roma still holding on to 5th place here, and this is the last chance now for any of these other guys to find a way through.
Yeah, final lap. They all have to make the effort now, and they're all going to do it at the same time. So let's see who makes a mistake or not. There isn't many possibility of overtaking around here, as we spoke before. The last one being in the main straight at the back.
Yeah, it's a risky one though, and the sort of main overtaking opportunity is already gone for them. That's down into the first corner, and they've got through there. So there's our race leader, still putting the laps together. He's so smooth, so consistent, is Jelmer Berman. And you know what? The last time that Superleague Formula came to the Nurburgring, Jelmer Berman was a race winner. On that occasion, he was driving for PSV. On this occasion, he's driving for AC Milan. And funnily enough, AC Milan also had a win here at the Nurburgring in the other race when Robert Dornbos was driving. You put the two together, AC Milan plus Jelmer Berman. What is the result? It's victory in the first race of the day at the Nurburgring. Brilliant drive.
Go in lap, and let the brakes cool down. Let everything cool down. Get one more race, so let everything cool down.
Yeah, they have to let the brakes cool down because this circuit is very hard on the brakes and it's very hot out there.
Second goes to Anderlecht, third goes to Olympiacos, a good fourth for Flamengo. Who's going to be fifth? I think it's going to be AS Roma. Julien Jus, he started on pole position. The start was terrible, but he's driven a brilliant defensive race, and he does hold on to fifth. Liverpool, Corinthians 7th, Basel in 8th, Galatasaray finish in 9th, and we expect to see championship leader Tottenham Hotspur coming across the line in a moment, but all the way down in 10th position. And that means, of course, that AC Milan has managed to close up the gap in the points table, and that is going to be a massive boost to Jelmer Berman. Tottenham will still pick up 18 points for finishing in 10th place, but Jelmer Berman has just taken 50 points, and that means he's managed to close up 32 points in that 60 interval that was between the two coming into the race. So let's... AC Milan, the winner from Anderlecht, and, well, he couldn't have done a better job than that. Beautiful drive by Jelmer Berman.
Very good start from him, and good, strong, solid race, basically, not a mistake. Very fast all the way through.
And a big lead in the end. The result of the first race, AC Milan winning by 7 seconds from Anderlecht in second. Olympiacos, a great drive and a good pit stop to go third. Flamengo fourth, and AS Roma winning that fight for fifth ahead of Liverpool, Corinthians, Basel and Galatasaray. And championship leader Tottenham finished in 10th. Outside the top 10, then 11th went to Seville. Sporting Lisbon took 12. PSV, after a lot of battling, finished in 13th place. Lyon in 14th. Bordeaux in 15th. Atletico Madrid ended in the gravel trap. Porto ended in pit lane. Beijing didn't even make the start of the race. So, a dramatic victory for Jelmer Berman in terms of the domination that he had. Dramatic from the sense of a lead that he had in cars that are identical. 7 seconds the advantage amongst cars that are all the same, powered by the same engines, and that is the mark of somebody who's really at the top of the game at the moment in these machines. He loves these Super League cars. They're heavy, they're big, they're massively powerful, and he is so good at stringing together a result like that when he gets in front.
Yeah, he really is flying at the moment. From Magnico last weekend in Jarama as well. Again this weekend, he's really the man on top of the series just now. Being very strong. Not yet a pole position though, but when you do such good races, that's all you need.
The one area where perhaps he's a little weaker than Craig Dolby is the fight through the field. Now, he's going to have to start from the back in the second race of the day here, and we'll have to see whether he can fight his way through.
Yeah, and this is Anderlecht, Davide Rigon. Good, strong race as well. very championship contender as well. He's actually running 4th at the minute.
Yep.
So that's very good. And again, a very strong race from Olympiacos. I said I was a bit disappointed with the qualifying, but no, he was there in the race. Very strong, very good pit stop as well, which got him the 3rd position on Flamengo. So a strong podium with drivers that are up there all the time those days.
Jelmer Berman becomes the first driver this year to record 3 victories. We've got several teams and drivers who have won 2 races this year, but Jelmer becomes the first to make it 3 wins, and the team delighted. Anthony Reid there on the left, delighted with the performance of this young man once again, and they have managed to close that gap in the championship. But with Anderlecht up there, Olympiacos up there as well, we're closing the championship between all of the major contenders as we go through the course of the season, and it's just going to make life even more exciting. So, Jelmer Berman is going to go through the normal rigmarole that accompanies the end of the race, the weighing that has to be done, some more congratulations to be handed out there as well, and then into the scrutineering area. A quick congratulations to Chris van der Drift, who scored that excellent 3rd place, and Jelmer Berman taking the 3rd victory of the season in a good style. Let's take a little look back then at the first race of the day here at the Nurburgring. So much of the first race was determined by the start. As they all went into the first corner, it was a poor getaway by the front row men. Milan and Anderlecht battled for the lead into that first corner. Corinthians, who'd been on the outside of the front row, lost out big time and found themselves in a midfield melee. Sebastian Bourdais went off on that first lap and somehow managed to keep out of the tyre barrier. Beijing hadn't even got this far. Their car had stopped on the formation lap. Great battle went on between PSV and Porto. Naren Kartikeyan just managed to fend off Alvaro Barret. But when Jelmer Berman came into the pits a lap later than the others, it looked as though everything was under control. He came out ahead of Anderlecht. Atletico Madrid went off in the latter stages of the race. PSV found themselves in another tussle, this time with Sporting Lisbon, the other Portuguese club, and this time it almost ended in tears. Thankfully, they both recovered and they would make it through to the checkered flag. And the biggest fight in the race in the closing stages was for 5th place between AS Roma, Liverpool, Corinthians, Basel joining in, and Galatasaray. But up front there was absolutely no doubt about who was going to come through and win this one. Jelmer Berman had driven a perfect race to take his 3rd win of the season. So let's get down to the pits and get some reaction with Abby.
Jelmer, congratulations, the first driver of the season to get 3 wins.
Yeah, well, let's give it a go. No, it's been a great race. Just managed to overtake actually Robert on the start, and then I was on the inside of, I think, Davide, and I just could stay there, and yeah, then I could manage to make a gap. It was a bit close after the pit stop again. I was talking to the team on the radio in the first corner just before the pit stop, and I think I hit the pit limiter with my hand. So by the time you realize what's going on, it takes a couple of seconds. So it was a bit close after the pit stop, but no, it was good.
Was it a tactical thing to just pit a little bit later than some of the other drivers?
Yeah, I mean, it's always difficult because with traffic, and you know, when you pit early, you have the chance of other people driving in the way. And now I had another car which was a little bit in the way, Maria. But once I got past her, then I could make the gap bigger again, and yeah.
Well, Jelmer, it's a win for you, but just as important, Craig Dolby came in 10th, so you scraped back some points. This will be great for you for the championship.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he'll start a lot further to the front now for the second one. I'll be way down at the back, but I hope you can overtake quite a bit here. So hopefully I'll get close to the front again.
Okay, well, congratulations.
So a happy, smiling Jelmer Berman. He knows he's going to be starting from the back for the second race, but at the moment he's not too worried about it because he's going to enjoy celebrating the first race win of the day. Didn't end up with fastest lap in the end, interestingly, because that did go to Basel. Max Wissel's clamber back up through the field did get that fastest lap at a 1:44.896, and that shows that the young German has got great pace. But if you look at the England versus Germany battle that's going to be going on the football pitch tonight, well, England had the slight advantage. They do have 2 drivers in this race, so they have a bit more of a numbers advantage. But Liverpool finished in 6th, and of course Basel finished in 8th. So England up 1 there against Germany in Superleague Formula, at least in race 1. And there's a lot more to see from race 2 later on this afternoon. The trophy presentation about to be made to our podium finishers. There they are, Berman in the middle. On the left of the shot as we look at it is Chris van der Drift in the red and white stripes. and Anderlecht's David Rigon on the right as we look at it there as well. And they're about to pick up their trophies. 50 points on offer, of course, to Jelmer Berman. He's taken the 50 points. 45 points have gone to Anderlecht's David Rigon, and some 40 points have gone to Chris van der Drift, and Olympiacos are definitely becoming a major factor in this championship battle. Let's just confirm what it's meant to the points. Tottenham came in with a 60-point lead, but you can see that's now been closed by AC Milan. Anderlecht are in third place. They've moved ahead of Basel as a result of that race, and Olympiacos are now not far behind Basel there in fifth. AS Roma in sixth, ahead of Flamengo, then Liverpool, Porto and Sporting Lisbon. So the presentations are being made. We've had one race of the day here at the Nurburgring. We've got 2 more to come. I hope you can join us for those a little bit later today. But for now, goodbye.